Hello, and welcome to Take Flight Live with Phoenix Stage Company, an award-winning 100% volunteer community theater organization located in Oakville, Connecticut. Woo! I'm Ed Bassett, Executive Director of Phoenix Stage Company and your host, and today I'm here with Aric Calabrese. Say hello, Aric.
Hello.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
what's going on?
Hey.
Wait, you didn't tell me. What did you? You didn't tell me you were replacing him.
You're in New Hampshire.
I go away for 1 week.
Oh,
I am. I'm up at the lake. Look, I'll show you. There's a lake.
No one's here. You're at the lake, and you're with me. Pay no attention to the man behind the balloons.
Eric's
happy anniversary, Tim.
Hey, happy anniversary.
It's great. The 10 years ago today, we did our ribbon cutting at our theater in Naugatuck.
Yes.
Seems
and
so
Eric's
long ago, doesn't it?
It does. Like, as long as I've been a host for this show, it seems.
It seems, right? But you're in New Hampshire on vacation.
Did you redecorate too? You redecorated while I was gone too, didn't you?
It's celebration. It's a celebration. If you were here, we'd still have the orange tablecloth and the fun things.
Wait, are you going to tell me he has jargon too?
Well,
has he done the jargon?
Yes, we have gas. Yes, we have jargon. Yes.
Yep. Wait.
I'm sorry, Tim, but we have to move on. We have to do these things. And you're in New Hampshire. It's beautiful up there.
I'm in New Hampshire.
You're at a lake.
I'm in New Hampshire on vacation. Yeah. I'll be back next week.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Have a fun show, everybody. Aric, don't screw up.
Say goodbye, Tim.
Goodbye.
There we go. Okay.
Bye, Tim.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, don't screw up. I won't, Tim.
So
you set the bar pretty low.
So how are you, Aric?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
It's nice to have you here.
It's wonderful to be here.
It's been a week.
A week. It's
been 2 weeks because we weren't here last week because we had a little problem. One of our participants wasn't feeling well and we couldn't take any chances, so we weren't here, but that's okay because we're back now.
Yes.
10-year anniversary. We have these things right here. We can do distance cheers. Yeah. So yep. Oh, and we have to do this too, Aric. We have to make sure that we're legal.
Oh, we are safe. We're safe.
We're legal and we're safe.
We are safe.
Yes, we are. You can let go of that. Put your little, and so we are 6 feet apart, which to cover for Tim, I will tell you, that is 1 fathom. One fathom is 6 feet. Oh so when you hear that in the movies and they ask how deep the water is and they say 3 fathoms, that would be 18 feet.
Michael and I just spent a little bit of time in Vermont and there were stores that had signs that gave you different references for what's 6 feet. One of them suggested it was the length of a full-grown cow.
Wow.
It was like, it's the length of a full-grown cow.
So if a cow sat up on its butt, it would be as tall as me.
I believe
not with his legs extended.
Right.
Standing up like a person.
Right.
But on his butt.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Cows are big.
Cows are big. 6 feet.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Farmers, I assume.
Farmers would know that too.
I guess. Yeah. How are you doing?
Great. This storm went through and didn't do a whole lot more damage. We just have a few little leaks that we're taking care of. Added a couple more buckets, to the previous storm damage. But it's okay. The walls are down and there's no mold. We got rid of that. So now we just have to keep things dry.
That's all. Every step forward is a step in the right direction. We're
moving. We're trying really hard.
Every step forward.
We are trying really hard. So today we're talking about beginnings. Yeah.
Beginnings. Yes.
What else is going to happen today?
And then we've got, we're talking with Agnes Dann, who is a founding member of Phoenix.
Yes, she is.
Yes. Then we have Ask Lydia with Lydia from Minnesota.
Yep, Northfield, Minnesota.
And then Lori Poulin is going to be stopping in as well. And then we've got our jargon gymnastics.
Fun game. We have some tough words today.
There's some good words.
We have some tough words for Agnes. Some good ones. Yeah. So beginnings, people often ask, I have a couple things to do before I talk about beginnings. And these are kind of beginnings because they're birthdays.
Oh, yeah.
So people began on this day. Casey Ross. Our friend Casey. Happy birthday, Casey.
Happy birthday, Casey.
Yes. And so on our anniversary, and tomorrow is Merrick Martin's birthday.
Oh, wow.
And his wife is in our audience tonight. It's so nice, Martha, to see you and have you in our audience.
That was my dog.
So happy birthday to Casey today and Merrick tomorrow. I just got a little message from Lucia Dressel saying happy anniversary, Phoenix. Love you all. So thank you, Lucia. We appreciate it.
Her husband's birthday just went by recently.
He did. Yeah, it did. He was on our list to announce last week.
Oh, there we go.
And we couldn't announce. So we missed a couple. So happy birthday to everybody that we missed. So those were beginnings. So Phoenix Stage Company's birthday was on, well, the day we cut our ribbon. So maybe that's the day we cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we were born for a month before that. But anyway, so we cut the ribbon today.
It was your soft
August 27th, 2010, down in Naugatuck. We had an opening, and it was, I think it was quite lovely. And we had a preview of a show, the very first show that we had, and that we had a representative from the state legislature that came and gave us a proclamation, which we have on a frame somewhere around the theater here.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it was a lovely evening, and we had a reception and was very well attended.
What was the first show that you did?
The very first show that Phoenix Stage Company did was Bleacher Bums.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Bleacher Bums.
Okay, what made you choose? Was there anything that went into deciding
So
that show?
so I'm glad you asked that, because it kind of goes to how Phoenix Stage Company came about. So Agnes Dann and myself and Sharon Wilcox at the time, we had a company called Bravo Theatrical Design. Yes. And we did costume and set designs for other theaters. And so we had always talked about the possibility of opening a small performance space to showcase our designs, to showcase our costumes and our sets and our props for rental. That was the purpose. A lot of people thought that we opened because the Thomaston Opera House was closing. And so they thought we were just firing something up to get it going. And really it was not connected. It was related in the fact that Sharon Wilcox was the interim executive director at the Thomaston Opera House while they were closing.
Right.
And so she ended up down with us, but really wasn't there. The Thomaston Opera House had the Arts Center, which was their small performance space that now the theater there uses as a pit, oftentimes, and rehearsal space.
Right.
But it was a small arts center, they called it. And they had several shows lined up to go in there when they closed. And those shows were already slated to start rehearsals. Oh. So our very first two shows, instead of, oh my God, we've got to find shows, we have to have auditions, and we only have 5 weeks to do it in.
You had pre-cast
we
shows?
Took the first two shows that were already starting to rehearse, and we didn't want to have them not do it, so we brought them down. We paid for the royalties and we did the shows.
Oh, that's amazing.
With those casts. So Bleacher Bums was the very first show that we did.
Okay.
And I remember when they walked in, Jonathan Ross was the first to walk in from the cast, and there was just a tape outline of where we were going to build a stage. And there were milk crates and some folding chairs. And he walked in and looked around and said, "So this is going to be a theater?" And I said, "Yes, it is." Yes, and he went, "Okay." And because there were poles in the middle of the floors and all of that stuff. So that's kind of where we started. I'll let Agnes tell you when she comes on more about how she found the space.
Okay.
And the phone call that I got, and we rushed out. But what ended up happening was we opened as a for-profit theater, and we were under the umbrella of Bravo Theatrical Designs.
Right.
We quickly learned that there was no profit in theater. That there was no, because you have all of these additional fees and taxes from the state, cabaret tax, admission charges. They want a piece of everything.
Right.
They wanted everything from concessions, sales tax. They wanted everything. And we went, oh my goodness. And we also were a bit naive on the amount of work that it took to run a theater and mount shows.
Right.
Because we had done one.
You've done half of it,
other.
but not the full.
And then once we got in there, we kind of went, oh. And right after we opened, Sharon Wilcox started working for the Warner.
Right.
So she wasn't then available to be part of Phoenix as much in her new role at the Warner. Right. And then not long after that, Agnes started a new job. And so it became really difficult. So we, at that point, decided to dissolve Bravo Theatrical Designs. All of the property from that, which was really costumes and props and things, were moved over to Phoenix Stage
Just
Company,
kind of
and it
absorbed.
reincorporated as Phoenix Stage Company as a nonprofit at that point. So that's kind of where we were and how we started, you know?
Yeah. How do you get that, I don't know, like the nerve to take that plunge? Because it's got to take some kind of,
Well, it took
Just
chutzpah.
like-
It did.
yeah, like
you know,
nerves.
we had to take the leap.
yeah.
When I got the phone call from Agnes and I went down to Naugatuck and went through the windows like this, you know, and looked in the windows and went, oh my gosh, this could really be cute. And then we went, we called the number on the door on the thing, and we looked at it, and we called Sharon, and I described it. Ooh, it's this and it's this, and it's got this, could be a dressing room, and it's got its own kitchen area, and it's got la la la. And Sharon and I on the phone, and Agnes in the parking lot, it was like, if we have this many people come to a show, we charge this much for a ticket, and we do this many performances, then we can do this, and that means we've got the rent, and then we do this, and we've got this, and that means we can do the electricity. And so who can help us with this? And we have to build a stage, and we have to do this. And so we talked it over and then walked back into the room and said, yes, please.
You saw the spot, crunched the numbers, and went for
And
it.
we told the guys, the owners, yes, we'll do it. And then we made an arrangement for a time that we would come and sign the lease. So Agnes and I then left, and we went to, I think it was top of the morning maybe that we went to or something. And she was on her laptop and put on Facebook, the theater's coming. You know, we
Right.
announced then that we were opening a theater. And then once you did that, we just had to take that jump,
Yep.
you know, and then we got into the space and went,
Now what?
now what? And we dipped into our 401ks and pulled money out to put this together. We had to build a stage. We had to do all of this stuff. We had kind of an overzealous building inspector who kept slamming us so Agnes went and had a meeting with the officials there, showed them the plans, all of the stuff that had to be done. I was at work. And so she showed plans and they okayed everything.
Right.
And so we did all of this work. And then when it was in the paper that we were doing our opening and we were going to have a ribbon cutting, we got a call from the fire department saying, I don't know what you people think you're doing, but you can't do it. So we were like, what? And they showed up and they dinged us on a whole bunch of stuff. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, they wanted 2-hour fireproofing on the stage. And we had found this really cool acoustic fire retardant foam that went on the windows because it was a storefront. So it was silver on the outside and black on the inside. It was beautiful. And they made us take it all down. It was fire retardant. It was rated. We had a certificate. Didn't matter.
Why?
Haven't you heard of the station fire? That was one of the things they said to us. And I was like, oh no, because all they heard was acoustic foam.
Right.
So we had to take all that stuff down, and it went outside, out back. And a whole bunch of guys came down and we painted the windows black. And Ian, Dietrich, Tony Leone, and I think Dan Pori, we put him in hazmat suits with goggles and masks, and they shimmied under the stage with spray bottles to fire retardant everything. We had this chemical that was approved by the fire department, and they're under there squirt, and then we pulled them out, and it was insane, but we got everything done. And then when we got our fire inspection, like the landlords came in and helped us because there was some wiring that needed to be changed. And so they did that. And then they dinged me. The only thing that they dinged me on was that our fire extinguisher was 2 inches too high off the floor, or because it needed to be lowered so that a person in a wheelchair could grab it.
That's fair.
Okay.
Sure.
Didn't you realize that they were wrong on one of the requirements?
That comes later. Yes, that comes later. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Because then they allowed us, they gave us a temporary permission to do the ribbon cutting because the mayor was coming and the state reps and everybody.
Right.
So we had the ribbon cutting. Lovely night. Martha, you were there, right? It was a lovely night, and we were dressed formally, and it was so lovely. We did our ribbon cutting, and then the next day they came back, and the it was actually the building inspector who was like, you have to do this and you have to this and you have to this and you have to this. And the chairs all have to be ganged together, attached together, and so we did all of this stuff. And then he came back and they gave us permission to do the show. And then I did some work and studied on Connecticut fire codes and printed the books out. And I went through and highlighted everything. And I went through their rules that we said we broke. And I looked at them and they were wrong. Like if you had read the book, they didn't apply to us. So there was a whole lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We finally got it okay. And we worked it out. And for the first few shows, we had chairs from different places. We borrowed folding chairs from different places. So every time you came to see a show, there was different chairs, but we had chairs until we bought our purple chairs. And we did that for The Last Supper.
Yes. Which is
those were the first ones. And when we got them, they were all stacked. They had to be put together, and a whole bunch of people came down to help us put chairs together. But they all had packing strips that said "Inspected by Jesus." I'm sure it was Jesus, but it said Jesus. So we thought it was a sign. It was a religious show, and our chairs were packed and inspected by Jesus.
You know, the coincidence of that happening alone is enough for me to be like, this is good.
It's true. It's true. So it was a long time coming. Like it was a long time of so much work that we didn't realize had to be done to get up and running. And then once you're up and running, you just have to keep it going.
Right.
And what we didn't really take into account was that we would be slow at the start because people don't know you're there and you're trying to get the word out and you don't have a lot of money for advertising. So no, we didn't sell our shows out. So we were doing shows to 5 and 6 people at the start. Bleacher Bums did very, very well. And then the show that followed was called A Night at the Theater, and it didn't do so well. And great actors, bad script. Like bad. It was 4 people sitting on stage looking at the audience watching Shakespeare. They were watching Shakespeare. So they were in a theater commenting on Shakespeare. It wasn't so good. It was, the actors were great.
Right.
Yeah, it was right. So people left. Like people got up and left. One guy thought he was getting dinner with it. He thought it was a dinner theater. And so when we weren't serving dinner, he got up and left in the middle of a scene. Like, I'm hungry, so it was, and then we had to realize and that's when we realized, we have to do 11 productions a year to be able to pay rent. That's insane. 11 productions a year.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of shows.
Like a lot of energy.
We were cranking these shows out like nobody's business. And we had 2 or 3 rehearsing at the same time. So we ended up with a building up the street we were rehearsing in with no heat. And then, costumes were stored somewhere else. And it was really insane in the beginning.
It's got that energy of like the story of like a group of friends in a neighborhood putting together a treehouse, where it doesn't matter like what goes wrong. They're like, whatever, put it together with like bubble gum, put it together with glue, and you just make it work.
Like our first lighting board was 6 rheostats, so those round things that dim lights. It took 3 people to do a blackout. We'd go like this. And Agnes would come up from her desk and she'd take this one and I'd be in the middle and the sound person would be on these. We'd go 3, 2, 1, wham. And somebody was always a little slower. So it was like one light would go, wham. Even your left hand and right hand didn't quite go the same. So it was like, wham.
It's like, instead of a blackout, it's like a blackout wave.
And our sound system was like an iPod, a CD player, and a cassette tape. And so it was like each sound cue was coming. So they had to unplug, plug, play, find it, play it. And our sound system was the surround sound system from my apartment. Sharon and I brought it in and it was little speakers hanging from the drop ceiling. And it was a surround sound system. It was insane. And backstage, Brian Elser and myself had glow in the dark signs, yes and no, stage left and right to let them know when actors were ready so we could cue people because you couldn't see each other. It was insanity.
From the standpoint of somebody who's seen 2 to 3 shows at that location, I think early on, you couldn't tell the chaos.
And
that
yet
might have been.
you saw the shows that were our most challenged.
Yeah.
And you still came back.
They weren't. They were shows.
Yeah.
And all of the actors did phenomenal jobs.
Right.
Everybody, and they were very entertaining.
Yeah. You're so kind. Yeah. No, because you know what? That's the other thing. As a theater, all of us try really hard to be honest with ourselves, because when a show doesn't quite meet the standard, you kind of go, that's great. But you have to be honest enough to say, we have to learn from this.
Yes.
How can we learn from this, and how can we be better next time? Because you read a script and it reads a certain way and you perform the script. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows when you've done
right. I was having this conversation with somebody. They were referencing sports in reference to theater, in that sports, the people get this sense of either you did well, you succeeded, or you did not do well and you didn't succeed, you failed, or what have you. And that in theater, there isn't any kind of like statistical, like you can see it kind of laid out score wise.
Right.
And I was like, you cannot speak to a single actor who wouldn't be able to tell you when they didn't do a good job in a game.
Well, and it's also objective to the audience.
Yeah.
I'll have one audience member at intermission say to me, how could you do this show? It's awful. And then another person will go, oh, I love this show. It's so good. So it's objective to what's going on. And so you have to kind of keep that in mind while you're doing it. You know, we've all had those shows where you miss a cue.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello, Q. My name is Aric. It's nice to meet you again.
I don't think I've ever missed a cue.
Where you miss a cue, or you're on stage and your lines go out of your head, and you stand there with the what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Do you make stuff up? And we've all seen that loop that happens on stage sometimes when you get into a loop of lines where somebody's trying to help you and you're saying the same lines over. And but that happens. It happens regardless of early on or not. But this was, we were so excited to start. And it took us 5 years to build to the point where we were selling out pretty much every show. We had 70 seats. We were selling out every show. And one of the culminating shows of that was Sweeney Todd. I mean, a lot of people came to see if we could really do it in that small space. And then once word spread about the show, they kind of went up. So it took us 5 years. And then at that 5-year mark, we had to find a new home. And that's, the landlords needed more rent. They needed to make more money on the space. Taxes are high. I understand. So we need to go. So and they didn't say you have to go. Right. They said, we need to raise your rent. And we said, okay, we got to go. And so we ended up in this space, and we were just, we started over, and we were just at that 5-year mark where we were doing really well. We were selling out, and COVID hit. So now we're right at that again. We're at that spot again. So I feel like we're being challenged, but we can rise to that. We are Phoenix. And so we can rise to that.
If anything, historically, you as an organization and as a theater have shown that challenges are things that you will meet and then overcome.
Well, so fingers are crossed, and we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it. So listen, we're going to bring our guest on. Yes. Let me play her music. Where is it? There it is. Coming up to join us now is Agnes Dann, founding member of Phoenix Stage Company. Over the past 10 years, she's directed, stage managed, and been on stage. Her most recent directorial work was Fireflies, which I was very proud of. And that followed our 2018 production of the Octet Bridge Club. And her stage manager credits include Female Transport, Cemetery Club, and Jellofish, which I was also really proud of. There's a whole lot more, but we'll talk to her about it. So she can tell us all about it. Hello, Agnes.
Hello, hello. How are you all?
Welcome to the show.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. 10 years.
It doesn't feel like 10 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 10 years. Sometimes it feels like 100.
Sometimes it feels like 2.
It does.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I miss everything about everything. I miss all of our patrons and our cast members. And
we were just talking about that the other day. How much we miss, our patrons coming in and getting hugs, and then talking to them, and all of our actors and our family. It's really been weird.
It has been, yeah.
It's really been
Kind
weird.
of sad, yeah.
I'm sure that you watched and you heard me talking to Aric about.
I wanted in so bad.
Yeah, right. And so now, yeah, tell everyone how you found the space the first time. I know
Okay.
Brian was with you, right?
I have so many
And
questions.
you looked through the window, like.
Right. Well, my son Brian was with me, and we were, if you know where the theater is in Naugatuck, across the street is the Stop and Shop Plaza. And we had been in there, Brian and I, and we came out, and I was at the light, and I saw a big for lease sign over the door. And I said to Brian, I'm just going to drive in here real quick and look in the window. So we drove up, we stood in front, and the two of us were, like I said, were peering in the window, saw this great carpet, right? It was crazy carpet because this storefront had been an arcade before that.
A fun zone.
Yeah, a fun zone. And that's all that was there was this crazy carpet and like nothing else. It was a big old empty room. And I said, I wonder if this would work. Because as I said, when we did Bravo, we'd be sewing away and we'd talk about, it would be nice someday to have a place where we could, kind of do our thing and run our own little theater. But, we talked about it a lot, but we never actually moved on it. So when I saw this place, it just popped into my head and I called Ed and I'm like, so there's this little kind of storefront place that might work for a theater. What do you think? You want to come down and take a look at it? And he's like, oh, okay. And so down he came and he peered in the window just like I did. And he looked at me and went, oh, okay, this might work. so that like, the rest of the story went, we kind of all got together and we did our thing. And as you were talking about it, I remember saying to somebody who once asked me what made us start and keep going. And I said, I think if we had really thought about it a whole lot, we may not have. I said, but we just went. We just did it. And we didn't think about it. We just like, we're going to make this happen.
It's true. And I remember one night we had done a show and some young man, I don't remember who it was, walked up to us and said, my friends and I are thinking about starting a small theater like this. Do you have any advice? And we both said, run. Don't do it if you want to have a life. Because it's all
true.
Consuming. It's consuming, but we love it and it feeds our soul and we love feeding the souls of others. So.
And we just, every obstacle we came against, we just worked through it and we were just determined. And I remember some of the stories you're talking about. I remember when the guys came down and put on the hazmat suits and slid under the stage to paint it. I think John Quinn had come down to help them.
I think he was painting windows when the guys were under the stage.
Yeah.
Spraying everything. And there were arguments and there were tears and there was blood and there was, there was just so much that went into this because we were exhausted most of the time while we were trying to get all these shows going.
Yeah.
But in the end, it strengthened the friendships and it strengthened the relationships and we were able to do more together, but wow, craziness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and when you think about the fact, like you said, when Jonathan walked in, it was a big empty room. And I don't even remember how much time we had, but it wasn't a whole lot.
We signed the lease on July 17th.
Okay.
Opened with our ribbon cutting on August 27th.
Okay. So in that time, that short little span of time, we had to build the stage. We had help. We have, how it is. We have wonderful volunteers. We had help, but we had to build the stage. And then after that, we had to build the set. And then we, like you said, we had to think about lights and we had to think about sound.
Things kind of happened, like the universe kind of fell, right? Like we were there doing that and I got a phone call from Aurora Greaves up at the Warner. I was going to tell that story. They were emptying out the old studio theater downstairs. They were just getting rid of everything. It was all going out the dumpsters. Would you like to come and look? And that's where our counters came from. Oh. So we drove down and we got the counters and they came in. And then another theater was changing things and I had my old sound booth. Would you like it? It's blah, blah, blah. And so it ended up out in back of the theater one day in the rain. They dropped it off and it was really a sound tent. If you remember, it was a platform and we put a folding table in it and the walls were wood frame, but plastic. They were fabric. and there was plexiglass in front of it. So it was really a sound tent, but somebody gave that to us. It was like, here, you can have this. And the same thing, there were theater, people had old lights. You can have these. We only had 12 lights when we started, and the rheostats.
Yeah, I remember those.
And then as we progressed, we got better with stuff. We got more stuff. Things where the universe really came together to put us there.
It really did.
Yeah.
It was a community theater built by a community. That's
Absolutely.
It really was. It really was.
And we did have so many volunteers come help us get it through this.
And we repurposed, like when we moved in, there were columns, wood columns in the middle of the room that the arcade games all plugged into. So each side had outlets. We took all of those outlets and they went back through, and that's what our lights were plugged into. We used everything. We used everything.
That is the first thing I noticed when I went, the first time I came into the Naugatuck location was the carpet. And I was with Odwin at the time. And I turned and I said, was this an arcade once? And he went, no, yes, it was.
It was a great carpet. It was just, it was us, you know, it was, yeah.
That's the thing, is everyone, even in the chats, that's the first thing that anybody who was at the old location tells me is the carpet.
The carpet.
I'll tell you, I did find the carpet. I know where we will buy it. So wherever we end up, if it's here and we own the building or whatever, we will be able to our lobby with our old carpet.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Yes.
We really did. We really
It was so wonderful.
we did love that.
You know, another thing I remember about the old theater was the bathroom situation.
Yes.
So we had our stage, and on this side, there was a little room in the back, and that was the dressing room. It was very tiny. And we had 2 bathrooms on the patron side of the theater. And so what we had to do for our actors was during intermission, we let all of the audience, you know, do their whole bathroom thing. And once that quieted down, we would stand at the back door. The actors would go out their back door, down the alley, into where we were standing in the patron side, and we'd open it really quick and they'd run in so as to not be seen.
It was a great little space. You
know,
we had a little kitchen area with a table and chairs set up, and people, if they were running late, they would take their food from whatever restaurant they were at, and they put it into containers and bring it to the theater, and they'd sit in the little kitchen to watch the show. And they'd sit at the table and eat their food while they were watching the show. And so it was a really great little space.
It was.
We had to do some really creative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had to do some creative building to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to read you some shows from our years and ask you if there were favorites in our seasons.
Ask me what if they were our favorites?
Ask you what your favorites or favorite memories from each season. If there was a memory or a favorite show or a moment from each season. So 2010.
That's an old brain.
We had Bleacher Bums, A Night at the Theater, and the Hallelujah Girls. Is there anything that stands out about that season?
Yes, Hallelujah Girls. I remember how excited you were that you were able to put a real working sink on the set.
It's true. I had a working sink. Yeah,
it was just that. Yeah, he was just very excited about that.
That was really exciting. And 2011, our season was One Night with Fanny Bryce, I Hate Hamlet, Love, Sex, and the IRS, The Glass Menagerie, The Last 5 Years, Beyond Therapy, The Icebox, Drinking Habits.
Oh my God.
Wonderful Life, the radio play. We were busy.
That was a busy year.
I love them all. I mean,
they were all great. I will tell you what kind of stands out to me about that show. Or about that season. One Night with Fanny Bryce, it was a blizzard.
And I hurt myself.
You ended up going out in an ambulance because you fell in the parking lot.
I do that once in a while.
And the ambulance couldn't get up the hill into the parking lot. The cops had to come and push the ambulance up into the parking lot.
That's right. There was so much snow in the parking lot that I fell.
January 12th.
Yeah, there was so much snow in the parking lot. As I was walking, my legs did this.
Yeah, she went, and her keys flew away. We didn't find them till the spring when everything
Springtime, he found them in
10 years, Agnes. Apparently it was the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Agnes, it's like your feet work against you sometimes.
You think?
Yeah, so that was a good season. And then of course, It's a Wonderful Life, the live radio play. That's where our friends Jim Buffone and Kate Sandberg met.
Yes.
And get married, and they have two children now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We had a bit of that go on, which was kind of
Yes,
cool.
me too.
Yeah.
And then 2012, we had a Writer's Cramp, The Last Supper, The Adventures of Peter Cottontail or Peter Rabbit, Dial-M for Murder, Steel Magnolias, Harvey, A Bad Year for Tomatoes, and Every Christmas Story Ever Told the first time.
The first time. First time. Again, another wonderful season. There were so many great things that happened. Yeah. I'm trying
Peter
to.
Rabbit was our first foray into young people.
Yeah, and we decided
it was a great show, but
it was a great show, and everybody was great in it.
Yeah.
But we weren't really drawing the children.
No one came.
Yeah.
2013, there were 12 things that happened.
Oh my goodness.
Murder at the Prop Table, Kill Me Deadly, Arsenic and Old Lace, The Red Velvet Cake War, Sweet Surrender, Sweeney Todd.
Oh, Sweeney Todd.
Just Around the Bend, the premiere of that, and Nuncrackers. Yeah, I have some really good memories for that one. And do you have a favorite? Uh-oh, I think she froze.
Oh no.
Oh, I thought she was like dreamily thinking about the season.
I can cut in while I did see Once Around the Bend.
Yes.
That was a good show.
That was an original, and it was a challenge. It was a good show. It was a challenge, but it was a challenge, yeah. So I don't know if she's on, Agnes. Maybe we sign back on. Are you there? She can text me if you can hear me. Tell me. So some of my memories for this: the Red Velvet Cake War. That was the very first show that Deb Goodman ever did with us.
Oh.
And she had to eat whipped cream through the whole show. She would go through 4 cans of whipped cream every night. They were hidden all over, and every time her character would get stressed, she would squish whipped cream into her face. Poor girl. Like, that was the first show that she ever did with us. And I think, so she's signing back on because her power just went off.
Oh no.
And it came back on a little bit after that. Yeah. So yeah.
So she'll be back up soon.
Yes. Yeah. So and then what else was in that season? Oh, it was our one. I think that was one of our first one-act festivals. I think it was one of our first one-act festivals, and it was one of the best ones we ever did that season in 2013. And my favorite, one of my favorite shows started out 2014, and it's where our friend Lydia Cleft came from. So it was Death and Taxes.
Oh yeah.
It was a really fun show. You know what? While we're waiting for Agnes to sign back on, maybe we bring our friend Lydia on and do Ask Lydia. And then when Agnes comes back on, we'll continue our conversation. Oh, she's about to come back in. See all these technical issues. We have storms in the area, and her power was kind of flicking on and off earlier. So we'll see what happens now. Here she comes. And I see a screen.
There's changes happening.
They are. There she is.
Hello.
Welcome back. Can you hear us?
Our audio is still connecting.
Oh, your audio's still connecting, Agnes. Hold on. It's like your phone has laryngitis. Here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
She's gone again. Oh, there she is. Are we there?
Yes.
Up. I'm looking to see if she's texting me, but she's not right now. So great.
Now she's like the neighbor from Home Improvement.
Yeah, now she's like the neighbor.
Wilfred or Wilson?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Can you hear me now?
Looks like she might have frozen again.
Oh, can you hear me now? Uh-oh.
It's still connecting to audio.
Okay, so Agnes, can you hear me? Nod if you can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna text her really quick, and I'm gonna tell her that we're gonna come back to her. We'll go to Lydia and come back to her.
Okay.
We'll go to Lydia, and I don't have to do this out loud. Back to I just texted. Oh, there she goes. Okay.
I popped her out.
Okay, so let's bring our friend Lydia on. It's time for Ask Lydia, all the way from Northfield, Minnesota. Hello, Lydia.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. Hi, fellas. Hey, what? Tim looks different.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tim looks a little different. He's younger now and he's got hair.
Honestly, it's just water and proportions.
Awesome. You know, somebody once told me 100% of people that drink water die.
That's a true statistic. 100% of people who drink water die. Look that up.
I guess I'll just have to stick to beer and champagne then.
That's what I do.
Okay, that's good. So Lydia, how have you been over these stormy days?
Oh, pretty good. I'm glad my power's still on.
Yeah.
That makes me very happy.
Excellent. We have a couple of questions for you.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Lydia, what really happened in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947?
Oh, you know, I get that question a lot, oddly enough. Yeah, since I was born way after that. But having done my research, come to find out that there was this UFO thing, which means unidentified flying object. And apparently it crashed. And a bunch of folks found it. And then they hid the little fellas that were in the ship. But then the government said, nobody's going to know about that. But then, you know, with cable TV and stuff, people found out.
Can't keep a good secret down.
Did they have cable TV back in 1940, whatever?
That'll be my question for Lydia next time.
Okay.
Well, that's what the aliens brought with them.
Oh, that and microwaves.
And microwaves.
And Mr. Coffees.
Yeah.
Because those are pretty genius.
Those are pretty genius.
That's a good answer, Lydia. I have a question for you too.
Okay.
Dear Lydia, what's really kept in Davy Jones's locker?
Oh, well, the Davy Jones that I really like is from the Monkees. Yeah, with Mickey Dolenz, you know, and the other two. So I would imagine he probably has tambourine in there.
So just the other guys are in his locker?
No, his tambourine. He was the guy that played the tambourine.
Oh, of course.
Oh, because he was the least talented of all of them.
Well, it takes a lot to play the tambourine.
Does
Yeah.
it?
But he was little and cute, so it's okay.
Nothing against being short, Ed.
It's
not all of us
true.
can be 6 feet tall. Okay.
It's true. Well, I started out 6 feet. I don't think I'm 6 feet tall anymore. Because I'm getting older, my spine is shrinking or something.
I don't have any answers for that.
It's because I don't drink enough water.
Okay.
I'm not as hydrated. Lydia, do you have something prepared for us this week?
Well, I do, and I know that you guys are celebrating an anniversary there, so happy anniversary. That's pretty exciting.
Thanks.
So I had fun a couple of shows ago when I did some haikus.
Haikus.
Yeah, so I did a few more of those.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first one, you know, people can't get out as much, but some people are having picnics, and this reminded me of that. So it goes like this. I was just thinking, that Frisbee's getting bigger. And then it hit me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and so the next two are kind of about your industry there with the theater. So it goes like this. No more theater. No more doing shows with friends. Just plays with myself. And then the third one. Are you ready? Are you okay? I can't see. Are you ready? Okay. The third one is in honor of your anniversary.
Okay.
Okay. Naugatuck storefront. A stage company was born because of 3 friends. Congratulations.
That's a lovely haiku. Cheers to you too, Lydia. Thank you. That was lovely. Wow. That's our friend Lydia Cleft from Northfield, Minnesota. And now we're going to stop talking to Lydia and we're going to talk to Lori Poulin for a minute.
I'll go get her. Hold on.
Okay, go get Lori Poulin, please.
And also Agnes's.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, hi.
Hey, Lori, how are you?
I'm really good. Sorry, I was in the other room. I didn't hear my name.
That's okay. So how are you tonight?
I am hanging in there. Hey, somebody left me a glass of bubbly here. Awesome.
That's right. It's our anniversary. So it's a celebration.
Celebration, whatever. You've been having that stuff already, haven't you?
Celebration, 10-year anniversary celebration. So Lori, you started with Phoenix Stage Company. You came to see a show first.
I volunteered. Yeah, I had been doing another show. I was doing another show at a different theater, and I met Sharon, and she invited the cast and crew to come see a show because you were still trying to fill seats at that time.
Right.
And my son was home from school, so I said to him, if we're going to go take a seat, we might as well volunteer. So I think I ushered the first couple of shows, and then I told you I was no stranger to a paintbrush. And then I ended up crewing Drinking Habits. So that was the first show I really had a position that wasn't an usher or a concession.
And that's where our saying, sometimes the glass doesn't break, comes from.
Yes, we had to make that saying up because that was still in the days of iPods and whatnot, because I was in the sound booth after that too. So we had the great idea to have a crash box, which means when glass breaks, you actually have real glass. You throw it into a box backstage, makes the fun noise. Everybody goes, woo, broken glass. So my first show, I had never crewed a show by myself before. And I was, you know, amongst strangers and scary actors that were saying words, and I had to help them put clothes on and stuff. So I, you know, 10 pages ahead, I know I had to break a glass. 5 pages ahead, I know I had to break the glass. Comes my shining moment to break the glass. I throw it in the thing, it hits the spike and it goes, gunk. It didn't break.
It bounced right off the rock.
So the poor woman, Colleen, that was on stage, had to talk about the glass that broke, when in actuality, the glass went gunk. So I thought, first show, new people, I'm fired. And, you know, just about in tears because I ruined the entire show because the glass didn't break. So after the show, when I was apologizing profusely, Ed said, sometimes the glass doesn't break. So that is a phrase that we still use to this day.
It's live theater and it happened.
Right.
That's one of my favorite things about live theater is when things don't happen when they're supposed to, and watching the actors try, which sounds kind of cruel, I guess, but sometimes they do really clever things to fill the space.
Well, and
Don't you move.
Sometimes things happen on stage when they're not supposed to. You know, Lori worked her way up very quickly. She was on stage and backstage and then directing shows. And one of the shows she directed in your wig got stuck on a fishing hook.
Yeah, it did.
And it wasn't supposed to happen, and they pulled you away and your wig came off and you weren't a girl anymore. It was kind of crazy.
That wasn't the same show somebody forgot a cue, was it?
I don't recall.
It would be the same show.
42 seconds, but I don't recall.
Yeah. Hello, Aric. I'm Q. Nice to meet you. Hi. Yeah. So yes, it's true. And do you have any favorite moments, Lori, or favorite highlights from shows that you remember? Anything that you recall?
Well, the glass doesn't break story is always a fun one. Then when I graduated to directing more, and we moved into the new space, the second thing I ever directed was Jacob Marley's Christmas Carol. Woo, woo, woo. And that is when I met the boys, because I asked Michael to be in the show. And then of course we got Aric too. And that was a marvelous show. It was funny, it was touching, it was sad, it was a roller coaster of emotions, but it was a really great experience.
Yeah, I enjoyed that show a whole lot.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
That was
really
fun.
good.
It took us literally years to get rid of all the glitter.
I know.
For anyone who didn't see the show, Michael played a bogle, which is kind of like a spirit being, and his costume was just all white and then just glitter, glitter. So laundry was glitter, our bed sheets were glitter for a while.
And I enjoy that a patron had come in after that show and Michael was ushering and she said to him, "Oh, can I get a picture with you without your makeup?"
Without your makeup.
And it was
Then he looked so different because he wasn't covered in glitter.
So different when he's not covered in glitter.
It's true. Well, Lori, thank you for a fabulous 10 years. We'll be together for another 10, I'm sure.
Indeed.
I'm sure we will be. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, Lori.
Bye, Agnes.
See you. I'm back, but see you.
So Agnes is back with us. Darn power. So is your power out?
No, it went out and then it came back on. And then it went out and it came back on. And I thought my internet was going to be down again for a while, but it came back up fairly quickly. But I do keep getting, just so you know, this little note on my computer that says your internet is unstable. So
right,
hopefully if you lose me again, that's what it is.
Well, we're at 7:50 right now, so we're good. We have a few more minutes to talk and we'll wrap it up so that we don't.
Yeah, no, just in case you lose me, you know what happened.
No worries. So you were on, so one of the shows that you directed a one act for us in the very first one act festival. Do you remember that one act?
I do.
Yeah, and that your son-in-law and your daughter were in that, and our friends Marilyn Olson and Tom Sheehan. And it was a lovely.
It really was.
Piece.
Yeah.
I just found in my desk a small SIM card with recordings of all of our first one act festivals.
Oh, wow.
So I'm working on contacting all of those playwrights to get permission to do a stream of our very first
one. That would be so great.
And that show is in that, and Big Dog Likes Chocolate, the really strange one, and Eternity that Lori Poulin directed. There's some beautiful pieces in that. One of my favorite. And so I hope that we'll be able to do that. You were on stage in Vintage Hitchcock with us.
Vintage Hitchcock? Oh, yes, but I thought you were talking about the time I was on stage before that.
Yeah, well, you were on stage in Hallelujah Girls.
Exactly. No, not.
Yes. Hallelujah Girls. You were a photograph on the wall.
Oh, that's right. I was. But then after that, I was on stage as a camel.
As a camel. That's right. In Nuncrackers. You were the front half of the camel.
Yep. And we always had a guest person who was
it was Deb Cryan who was the back. She was also our crew nun, but there was one night that couldn't be there. And so we had a guest.
We had a guest, And that was Sheila Elser, right?
Sheila Elser came in and did that for us. It's true. It's true. And then you were a part of two really great shows too. The Cemetery Club.
Yes.
Directed by Lucia. You were the stage manager, and a masterclass.
That was fabulous.
And the masterclass took us a long time to get it up. It
did.
So rude. It took a long time for us to get that show going and get it into because we kept that was another one with storms and things like that. And so it ended up going up February 16th through the 18th. It was a short run because of storms. And then the show that followed that, called Secondary Cause of Death, we had 9 performances planned. We were snowed out of 7.
You only had 2 shows?
We only had 2 shows out of the 9 because we were snowed out. The pipes froze at one point, and the pipes were under the.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh!
And then we moved and we came here.
Yeah.
And we opened here with Almost Maine. That was going to be our closing show there.
It's a good show.
Yeah, and then we did a whole lot of shows here. Cops.
That was fabulous. Fabulous.
And you were a part of Cops because you were cooking backstage.
I was with a broken arm.
With a broken arm.
I washed a lot of dishes after you broke that arm.
Yes, you did.
I can now confirm, for anybody wondering, Agnes cooks a real good omelet.
I was making real food. I was making omelets.
I have to tell
potatoes, toast, the whole thing.
Yeah. So and then we had Female Transport that you are part of. Another really strong show. Octet Bridge Club.
So good.
Octet Bridge Club was amazing. It was so good. It
Loved
was,
that. And all those, everybody was just so wonderful to work with.
And you were in rehearsals for, I know.
Enchanted April.
We were in rehearsal for Enchanted April when this all happened.
And we had so many new people in that cast, and it was going so well.
Yeah.
And I was like in heaven. It was going to be beautiful. And
of course, the last thing that you directed that came to the stage was Fireflies.
Fireflies.
And
that was another beautiful and
amazing.
Thank you.
Phenomenal
show. It was one of my. It was the most challenging role I'd ever played, and it was.
He was very nervous, and he kept saying, "I don't know. This is not, what I usually do." And I'm like, "Just do it." And you just blew it out of the water. That was one of your best performances.
Such a great cast to work with.
So Agnes, can I say something on it?
No.
That you were the stage manager during Female Transport. And
yes.
I remember when you called me to tell me that I got the part of Sarge. And for anyone who doesn't know, Sarge is not a nice person. And it is absolutely the furthest thing from what I thought I was auditioning for.
That's right.
And I paused. So you told me the part you were offering. And then I kind of went silent for a moment as I was like, wait. Maybe I heard her wrong? And you were like, no, we saw this, like you have it, like you're good. Like you reassured me on it. You're like, no, we see a thing.
Good.
You're good. And that part was so outside of my box of who I am, but it was that reassurance that gave me that first push that I was like,
good. Yeah, you were great. You did such a great job. Everybody did. That was a tough one. That was intense.
God, that was a heavy show.
It was a really tough show, and it was a challenge for everybody that was there. And poor Pitty hung herself. She got a party after, though.
She did get a party.
So, and I've had to kill so many people backstage that it's like I had to shoot Tori. And so I would be, I would be in the lobby with the gun, and she would run off, and as soon as she got there, I would shoot her. And she would stop. She would stand still, and I had my back to her, and I would wait, and then I would shoot her, and then I would turn around and give her the big hug because I had just shot her. I had to hug her every time afterwards. And the same thing with Teresa after I hung her, because we were doing that in the dark. We did the whole thing in the dark, and then I would give her a little squeeze and leave, and then the lights would come up. She
would hang there and just swing.
And you heard that. Yeah, you heard the creaking sound, and it was dark. I remember. It gave me
But I had to give her a little squeeze before I left her. But yeah, interesting.
So it's been an amazing 10 years, friend, and
it has.
We're hopeful that we're going to be able to recover from this COVID thing, and that we're going to continue forward and have another 10 years. Fingers crossed, and we'll keep plowing ahead and doing what we do.
And
I hope that Eversource doesn't take more of our money. That's another story for another show, evil Eversource. So Agnes, you know what? It is time to play a game.
I know. Okay, I'm ready.
We're going to play jargon gymnastics, or as Michael likes to call it, jargon gymnastics, because he's gassier than the rest of us. So we're going to give you 3 words. Aric is going to give you 3 words in a foreign language, and each one he's going to give you 3 possible definitions, and you're going to try to guess the definition. You're playing for a prize for yourself and our audience member, Martha Irving. Woo! The language that we selected for you today is Filipino, also known as Tagalog. Aric, would you like to give her words?
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
Word number 1 is basta. Is it the Filipino word describing long, skinny noodles, the Filipino phrase for enough already, or a Filipino bicycle?
B.
Basta.
B.
B? So,
yes, it's very close to the Spanish basta, which means stop. Yes.
Yep.
Word number 2, gigil. Gigil. Is it the Filipino phrase to describe someone or something you just want to squeeze real tight, like a cute baby or like your sister's ass hat of a boyfriend you just want until they die? Is it a cute baby's laugh or the Filipino version of the VW bug? Giggle.
A.
Wow, you've already won, but we're gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Word number 3.
Okay.
Pina Kona Kopag Papa Bagag Bag Dam Damen.
Here it is. It's spelled out right here
There
if
you
you can
go.
see it. Here, Michael, can you
Wait,
hold
I
it?
gotta put my glasses on for this.
We're gonna zoom in on this.
We're gonna
You can see it.
zoom
Ready? Zoom.
and I'll repeat it.
Hold on.
Zoom in.
Hold it up to the camera,
Carry it
Michael.
over.
Take it up and carry it over there.
Can you hold that up? Round of applause for Michael. Working.
Yes, he's working so hard. There it is. Panagagaga.
Pina Kona Kapag Papa Bagag Bag Dam Damen.
Okay.
That's a real word, huh?
Is it the most popular ride on the midway of the local Filipino Firemen's Carnival? Is it the most emotionally disturbing or upsetting thing? Or is it a pork chop?
Well, I'm gonna go with B.
Yeah! Hey! and just for something fun, just so you know, that is the longest word in the Filipino language.
It's a real word, huh?
It is a real word, and
Wow.
it means it is the most emotionally disturbing or upsetting thing.
It's also the most disturbing word
It's a very
and emotionally upsetting.
Something really disturbed me. I feel like that's what I would say as
Yes.
well.
So you and Martha have both won a custom Take Flight with Phoenix Stage Company COVID mask and a Theater Strong bracelet with Phoenix Stage Company. So yay for you. That's awesome. So listen, before you go, Agnes, so you had found something interesting out about, it's not only our 10-year anniversary today, but
Yes.
something else happened today in history.
August 27th in 1665, it is the first recorded play that ever went up in the United States of America.
So it was premiere day of play in the United States, of theater in the United States of America.
First theater show that ever went up in the United States of
And we
America.
didn't even do that on purpose.
We didn't, but it was meant to be.
That's awesome, isn't it, Ruthie? Yes, it is. Ruthie's excited about that too.
Ruth's real excited.
She's just making her little thing. Agnes, happy anniversary
Happy
again.
anniversary.
Yes, happy
For
anniversary.
being on the show and for coming.
My
in.
pleasure.
We love
Yeah.
you. Love you. We
Love you too. Love I miss everybody. Mwah, 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 mwah. I like. There it is.
Wow.
What a show.
And you know, you were doing a lot of research before we went on the air. You were writing all kinds of stuff down. And I want to give you a moment. What do you have to share with us before we go?
I looked up I was looking up either fun facts or good things to talk about.
Yeah.
So one of the fun facts was the fact that the first American play that ever went up was on the same exact day.
Yeah.
It had a critic named Edward Martin who apparently gave the show such a bad criticism that it was taken down and all of the performers were brought before a court and made to do the show again in front of the court. And then the judge fined the critic for making such a big deal about the show.
We should do that here. Ooh.
I'll look up what show it was.
Okay, that would be really awesome. We'll do that show and then we'll find people. Oh, that'd be a way for us to raise money to last through the COVID event.
They come see the show that was so bad.
That was so bad that the critic got fined. Yeah.
And then the other good thing that I looked up, and I hadn't heard about it earlier, was after all the protesting that took place in Chicago recently, a group of teenagers actually got together and formed a pop-up food mart from an old liquor store called Austin Harvest, which is feeding people who feeding and helping shelter people who are dishomed or without food after all the protesting.
That
So it's
is
absolutely
amazing.
beautiful.
So kudos to them. And that's great news to share. We like good news. You know, we do.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, this is our 10-year anniversary, and there are so many people that we need to thank for being a part of the Phoenix Stage Company family. They're too numerous for me to name. Of course, the two guys that I have here, Michael and Aric, who are amazing. Martha's in our audience. She's been a part of us from the beginning, but so many others. Donna Storms, who's been with us since day one, and Tim and Lori Phillips. They brought us our very first piece of furniture ever on July 17th, 2010. They dropped off the shoe chair, which is in our hallway. It will be on display when we reopen, and they've been with us since the very beginning. John Poulin, Grandma, who's done so much, Grandma Marilyn Lopez, who's done so much for us, and so many people we want to thank, you know, and we're, every day we get new volunteers and new people coming in. My family just started being involved. My sister Debbie, my brother-in-law Randy, they just started being involved before all of this happened. And it's nice to have them here. And just all of our Phoenix family, there's so many, Ian Dietrich and Emily Dietrich and Robin Tori Rishnovsky and the Willies and Deb Goodman and so many of you out there that we can't list. We can't possibly list, but know that we love you all. We hope that we're here for another 10 years so you can continue to be a part of our Phoenix family. Deb crying, the list goes on and on. Al Hathaway, who's not here because he's out biking somewhere because that's what he does. I get tired thinking of where he goes on that bike. And when he's doing that thing, it's just, unless there's an ice cream truck I'm chasing, I don't want to run or bike. You know, it's just crazy. So a great 10 years. Happy anniversary to all of you. Thank you all so much for everything that you do for Phoenix Stage Company and for being a part of our amazing little family.
And thank you all for supporting live theater.
Absolutely. And we need to thank our sponsors. Woo! We need to thank Black Hog Brewing Company of Oxford, Connecticut. They've been with us for 5 years. They're open again. They have their wonderful little grotto set up. So go to their website and check them out on their Facebook page and support Black Hog Brewing Company. Sierra Ridge Media Arts and Deb Cryan in Naugatuck, Connecticut. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
For Phoenix Stage Company, for your support. We look forward to working with you and playing with you for the next 10 years. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and you can make a donation to your community theater by visiting phoenix-stage-company.square.site. And I have to thank Laura Sturgis Cortez, who made a donation today, earlier today before we went on. So thank you for your support, Laura. And thank you, everyone. Just, think positive, be positive.
Yes.
And we'll see everyone very soon. That's all for now. Say goodbye, Aric.
Goodbye, Aric.
Goodbye for now.